Welcome back to the Cine-Ops Podcast, and it's 2026. We've got a lot done. We've been on a lot of journeys together. We've lived a great amount of different lives. We've seen different planets and all the stories we've revisited. And now, I don't like to do stories that are too crazy, right? A lot of into the multiverse type things. I think a solid story is pretty good. That's what we need. Just a nice, good story. How are you? How's everybody? Are we off to a good start? Are we hanging in there? Everything's good? Yeah, like I said, we grew a lot, right? The podcast has grown a lot. You guys are sharing, you guys are emailing in, you're requesting, you're letting me know what you think, and that's helping, right? That's helping me help you, help me help you again. And that's great. That's what we want. Perfect. We're building a community, a movie community, a storytelling community. Everything's going to be great. So there's something that was requested, right? Somebody, they called in, and they asked, I don't know if they were complaining, but they asked, they're like, oh, hey, we want to hear the second Rambo. Hey, tell us about Rambo 2, Rocky 2, whatever like that. And you're right. I'm like, oh, I need to do these sequels because I think when I started the podcast, I was super ambitious. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do 2 episodes a week and I'm going to get these out. Everything's going to be perfect. We're going to talk about so many movies. We're going to build a community. But in reality, 2 episodes a week is wild because I got to edit. I got to record and edit them. So I'm like, oh, damn, bro. It's taking a long time. I've been pretty inconsistent, but I've been getting better. Last year was the best. This year will be better. And then so on and so on. But yeah. So for whatever reason, I think I was just trying to nail all the pillars, right? All the pillars in the movie industry, in the film industry. I wanted to at least get the first ones in, right? Let's talk about Rambo 1, Rocky 1, Back to the Future 1, and whatever it is, right? I was only doing the first movies. And then also at the same time, I'm like, oh yeah, sequels are good, but sometimes not all of the sequels are good. And I was kind of being a little bitch about it. And I think I've grown to say that sometimes, you know what? I was acting like a bitch. So, we're growing around here. That's growth. Being able to say, hey, you know what? I was kind of being emotional. I was kind of not in the right headspace or whatever it is. I consider that growth. So, for whatever reason, I didn't want to do sequels. Boom, 2026, we're doing sequels. This year, we're doing sequels. And to start off, we're doing Rocky 2, because that was the one they mentioned. They're like, oh, what about Rocky? Rocky was so good. Please do the next one. We're doing the next one. And we're going to go up to Rocky 4. All right, so in the Rockies, right? There's so many Rockies, and then there's the Creeds. So there's the Rockies, there's the Creeds. So that's 9 movies. I think that's 9, technically 9 Rocky movies. You know what I mean? So we're going to do 4. We're going to do 4. Rocky fights Apollo Creed in the first one. Rocky 2, Apollo Creed. Rocky 3, Clubber Lang. Rocky 4, Ivan Drago, the Russian. We did Rocky. If you want to go back, check out Rocky 1. No promises, bro. I might have not been that good at podcasts back then. I'm hardly good at them now. So if you want to go check out Rocky, feel free. Watch the movie, whatever you want to do. But for Rocky 2, the way Rocky 2 starts, right? It starts off, the first few minutes, it starts off the end of the last movie, right? So he's fighting Apollo Creed. Apollo Creed was the greatest boxer in this time. Nobody has ever been able to go the distance with Apollo, right? It was Carl Weathers. He's jacked, beautiful. He's like what you picture a superhero, right? He's built like an action figure, right? Apollo Creed, he's the best boxer. Nobody can beat him. Nobody can go more than a few rounds with him. And for whatever reason, he decided, you know what? I need to switch it up. I'm tired of being on top of the time. I'm going to pick a random boxer and I'm going to give him a chance to fight me. It's kind of just like an entertainment thing, right? He kind of did it for show. That boxer happened to be Rocky Balboa. This guy, the Italian stallion who was a boxer, but he never really, he might have had a few pro fights, but he was never a big deal. He was kind of working as an enforcer for this mob guy around his town. He didn't really have a lot going on. But he wanted, right? He wanted I think all his life he kind of wanted a chance to prove his worth, prove himself to his family, friends, and to himself. And so out of nowhere, this chance came, right? The chance to fight the best boxer in the world. And he's, oh, well, if I fight him, that'll be cool. I'll be able to get some money, whatever it is. And in the training, he decides, you know what? I'm not just going to fight him. I'm not just going to do this. I'm going to go the distance. No one's ever gone the distance with him. I might not be that caliber of boxer, right? I might not be able to beat him, but at least I need to go the distance with him. I'll go to the distance with him. I'll go the distance. That's what he's thinking. And he shows up to the fight, and they start fighting. Boom, and he's not going down. Rocky's not going down there. He's taking a beating, right? He can't really outbox him, right? You're watching him boxing. If you know about boxing, you're watching him. It's a little sloppy. Not a lot of head movement. A lot of not good footwork, right? It's a slug match. He's a slugger. He's standing there toe-to-toe. They're punching each other. Boom, boom. Slugfest. And at the end of the movie, he goes the distance, right? He looks like burger meat, right? He's beat up. But he went the distance with Apollo Creed. Nobody's ever done it. And he said, yo, Adrian. Because Rocky talks like that, right? Sylvester Stallone. Yo, Adrian, right? He's bloody, right? He won the fight. And that's where the second movie starts. Right then and there. He's like, he won the fight. He did it. Right? He did it. And he's happy, right? The movie starts and he's coasting on that high. Right? He beat Apollo Creed technically he didn't beat him, but he won the crowd. You know what I mean? Everybody's like, Rocky represents Philadelphia. He did it. He's a man's man, right? He's the working man's boxer. He was able to go the distance with the best. So he's a celebrity. You know what I mean? He didn't win by points or whatever, but he went the distance and in a way, he beat Apollo. So now he's riding that high. He made about $35,000 off the fight. You know, so coming from somebody that he had nothing, right? He was working on the dock, small apartment, nothing. $35,000? That's life-changing. And the thing is, when you're not used to handling money, I'm not going to say that I'm great at handling money, but I will say I have not had money, right? It came from very little money. Came from little money, right? So whenever you had a little bit of money, say for example, like when I was a kid, I got paid. You know what? When I was a dishwasher, I made $90 every 2 weeks. Unreal. I don't know how I made it. But anyway, I would do crimes. But anyway, I'll cut that out. Whenever I would get money, right, I'm like, oh, wow, $200? I'd buy a dinner, I'd buy a shirt, a sweater. I'm like, all right, I bought a dinner, a shirt, a sweater. I probably still have about $200. But in reality, I probably have $75 left. And then I was like, oh, yeah, I put some gas in the car. I had a Honda Prelude. I put some gas. I got a snack at the gas station. I should have about $200. Really, I have $25 left. But because I'm not, you know what I mean? So when you don't have money, you don't know how to handle it. You don't know how to manage it. And that's what's happening with Rock, right? Rocky, he was dating Adrian, right? Adrian is the shy girl that worked at the pet store. She's brother with Paulie. Paulie's his best friend. They work together. And he won, right? Everybody, the town loves him. And he's like, hey, I'm going to go buy a car. Yo, Adrian, let's go get an apartment. It's all right. It doesn't matter what it costs. Let's get the apartment. They got the apartment. Yo, Adrian, why don't we get matching his and her Rolexes, right? They get expensive watches. They get this. They get that. And you know, Adrian, she's like, well, yeah, should we check the price? We should slow down. You know, she's responsible. She's like, can we afford this? And Rocky, of course, he's like, hey, come on. Hey, yeah, I'm the champ. Right? Because he's gonna do commercials, right? I guess he has like some contracts to do commercials and you know, little publicity stuff like that. And he's like, oh, those are all gonna be checks, a little bit of money in our pocket. Life is good. And the thing is, he's not gonna box anymore because he took such a beating. He's a little blind in his right eye, right? So he can't really, you know, you get knocked around a lot. That eye starts to go. And so he's like, you know, I'm going to put a pause on boxing. I'm just going to live my life with all this money I have, all these $35,000 that are never going to run out. Everything's going to be great. So that's what he's planning. And he's buying all this stuff. He asked Adrian, right? Hey, I was wondering if you wouldn't mind marrying me, right? That was his way of proposing, right? And in a way, it's romantic because he's a simple man, right? So he proposes to her. They get married, right? They get married through the church. They're happy. They're apartment hunting. They do this, they do that. And now it's the time. And Rocky's doing commercials, right? And he's doing commercials for like an Axe body spray. We've always known. And we've known that Rocky's like he isn't the most educated. He has no profession other than boxing and breaking people's hands to get money back that they borrowed from the mob. He has no real trade, right? No real education, no real trade. And now he's trying to read the cards, the cue cards for the commercial, and he's not the best reader. Can't blame him. I can't spell to save my life. Rocky, he's trying to read these things, and he's reading the cards for the deodorant, and he's like, you can smell manly. Smell manly. And the director's like, hey, come on, read the cards. Everybody's wasting time here because of you. Right? And the director's kind of being a dick to Rocky. And Rocky, he's trying his best to read. Right? And they got him dressed up. Like his makeup looks like he's been beat up. Right? Because essentially, he is famous for going the distance with Apollo Creed. But at the same time, he's famous for taking a beating that no man could have taken. It was like an unbelievable sight. Nobody's ever taken a beating the way Rocky's taken a beating. So in a way, that's what he's famous for. Is for taking the biggest beating anyone's ever seen. And so the director's being kind of mean to him. And then, Rocky's like, you know what? I don't have to do this. I don't got to do anything. Right? So he doesn't do the commercial. And then he's kind of applying for jobs. Right? And then at this point in the movie, we kind of see Rocky's trying to live a normal life, a normal man. He's trying to get a job, provide for his wife. His wife's pregnant. He's like, I need to get a decent job because it turns out these $35,000, I don't have much left. And he's like, he goes to like an investment firm, and he applies, right? He's wearing kind of like a silly looking suit because he's never worn a suit before. And he's like, I was just wondering if I could get a job here. And he's like, well, Mr. Balboa, it looks like you have no training. You have no experiences, no certifications or schooling. We can't. No, there's no job here. Or maybe we could give you a hard labor job, right? Shoveling dirt, or shoveling whatever it is. He's like, I was thinking maybe I could get a job here like you. And he's like, look, bro, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And he can't get a job anywhere. And then little by little, you just see life starting to wear on him. Life starting to wear on him, starting to beat him down a little bit. And that's something you can't get away from that. That's going to happen. Life's going to beat you down. Unless somehow you're able to plan everything so perfectly and everything agrees to go along with this perfect plan. Unless that, life will beat the hell out of you. And life is beating down on Rocky, right? He can't get a job. He has no training. They're making fun of him because he can't read. The car that he bought like a new Firebird, a brand new Firebird. He gave it to his brother-in-law. He said, hey, bro, can you take over the payments? I can't afford this car. And he lies. He's like, oh, it's because of my right eye. I can't really see. I'm crashing all the time. Struggling. He's struggling. Adrian, she's pregnant. She has to go back to work at the pet store. And then Rocky, he's like, hey, what are you doing? You got to work over here. And he's like, oh, no, it's just, I don't want to be at home all day. She says, oh, it's a good little exercise while I'm pregnant. And he just can't catch a break, And then eventually he goes to Mick. He goes to Mick's gym. Mickey's the trainer. And he's like, yo, can I get a part-time job, working here? And then he's like, you ought to be training to beat Apollo Creed for a rematch. You know how Mick is, right? And he's like, oh, no, I don't fight anymore. I don't want to fight anymore. Adrian doesn't like it. It's not good for my eye, my head, and this and that. I'm just not going to fight anymore. And then Rocky's working at the gym, right? He's kind of mopping up. He's mopping up after other boxers, right? Boxers spit in this bucket, right? After every round, the sparring round, they swish out their mouth, spit in this bucket. They got spit buckets. He's emptying them out, cleaning the toilets. He's doing this. But at the same time, Apollo Creed, he's kind of like, right, on the other end. Apollo Creed's, everybody on Apollo Creed's end, right? He's reading the papers. And he's like, and the comments, he's reading the comments on the post, right? And they're like, we knew Apollo Creed wasn't a real boxer. He cherry picked his fight so he can always win, this and that. So they're hating on Apollo Creed for winning by points, but he wasn't able to beat this so-called nobody. This so-called nobody, Rocky Balboa, was able to go the distance with the champ. He's no champ, right? So that hurts Apollo's ego. He's like, man, they calling me a chump. They calling me a cherry picker, this and that. Nah, I gotta rematch Rocky and show everybody what's up for real. So he has like ads taken in the paper calling him, instead of calling him the Italian stallion, they call him the Italian chicken or whatever. They call him a coward, this and that. So, all this words going around the gym, and they're looking at the paper and they see Rock coming in like, yeah, everybody's shitting on him, man. People are going to shit on you. They're going to shit on you regardless. They're going to shit on you when you're down, and they sure as shit going to shit on you when you up. Remember that. Good night. Good night. That's it for the episode. No. But, so they're shitting on Rocky. They're like, hey, Rock, why don't you take this? And they spit in the bucket right when he's picking it up. You know what I mean? And Rocky kind of brushes it off. Right? I think that's probably one of the hardest things in the world you could do is just somehow not let something bother you or keep a smile, right? When obviously you know what I mean? And Rocky, he picks up the bucket and he's like, kind of smiles like, hey, nah, don't worry. Yeah, they're gonna, you know what I mean? And he takes the bucket, but you see it does bother him, right? So he was able to put on a fake smile for a bit, but when he gets behind, and dumping the spit, he's kind of like, damn, I need a little break. You might want to, cry a little, wipe your, you're gonna cry in the dark real quick. We'll go back out, and it's hurting him, right? Everything is piling up on him, and he feels that pressure that maybe if he could do one more fight, he'll get a little bit of money to save him from this thing. It's all he can do. His kid's on the way, this and that, and it's not helping that Apollo Creed, he's on the news, and he's like, I'll beat Rocky. I need to do a rematch with him. Everybody wants to call me fake. I'm going to do a rematch with Rocky. He doesn't even have to go 13 rounds. He just has to go, or whatever it is. Like, I'm going to give him 50 mil to fight me for 10 rounds or whatever. For real, box me for 10 rounds to show everybody what's up. For real, I'm a real boxer. He's a nobody. 50 mil, 10 rounds. Are you going to do it, Rock? But the thing is, Adrian doesn't want Rocky to box anymore. Adrian doesn't want Rocky to box anymore. It's not good for his brain. She doesn't like it because your man, right? So she's married to a fighter. He's going to get, she saw how bad he got beat up in the last fight. She doesn't want to see that again. So she's like, no, this and that. But Rocky knows, look, if I could just train, do this fight, we'll be good. We can make it, right? So there's this very heartfelt moment in the movie where Rocky's opening up to his wife, right? He's talking to her. They're in the apartment. She's super pregnant. And he's like, yo, Adrian. He always says, yo, Adrian. That's how we always talk to her. Yo, Adrian, this and that. And he's really telling her how he feels. And he's like, you know what? I can't get a job. Because he did get a job at the meat factory for a little bit. But because he was too new, they had to let people go. He got cut. Couldn't hold a job. There was nowhere for him to go except for this fight. Life was pushing him towards this fight. And he says, Adrian, he tells her a lot of reasons. And he says, Adrian, I never asked you to stop being a woman. So don't ask me to stop being a man. And you feel it, right? You feel it because you got to win. Life is beating the hell out of you, and you have to win. That's the only option, is to win. And she says, okay, all right, you can fight, Rock. But she doesn't like it. He's like, okay, I want to fight. She says, okay, you can fight, but she's not fully on board, right? So he's training again, right? We get a montage, right? And Mick is like, you're gonna need speed. Lightning speed, right? So he got him doing old-fashioned work. He's chasing a chicken around the dirt lot. He's running up in here. He's like, hey, you're a left-hand fighter. You got to learn how to fight with your right hand, this and that, whatever. We're going to do this training. And he's training. He's sparring with everybody, but he's not, right? His heart's not in it. His mind's not in it because he knows Adrian doesn't agree, right? His wife, his partner, doesn't fully agree. Therefore, he can't fully commit. He's not fully committed. His mind isn't in it. And Paulie's there, right? Paulie's Adrian's brother. He's kind of a piece of shit. But Paulie's there. And he's like, yo, Rock, what's going on? And he's like, But Paul knows there's something going on with his sister. Like, she's not letting him box. So he's like, all right, I'm going to go talk to her, right? And Rock's like, yo, just leave her alone, right? He's training. Paulie goes across the street because the pet store is right across the street from the boxing gym. And he goes in there, and Paulie's like, such a Real jerk. He's a real jerk. And he's like, yo, AJ, what are you doing with that boy over there? You're messing up his head. Why? What are you doing to him? You're not letting him train. You're not letting him focus. And she's like, Paulie, you don't know what it's like. I love him. If something happens to him, I have to take care of him, and I don't want to see him get hurt, this and that. She's making valid points, but she's crying. She's hysterical, and she's like, oh, my baby, something's wrong with her. Something happened, right? She was stressed out, all this. And Paulie's like, what are you doing? What's wrong? And they take her to the hospital. And then across the street, Rocky, he's kind of getting an earful from Mick. Mick is like, your heart's not in it. You know what? I liked it when you were picking up spit buckets better. I liked you better then. Not this like half-ass trainer. Not this half-ass boxer you're training to be. And Mick's in his ear. And they're like, yo, Rock, they need you. Your wife's hurt. And Rocky takes off, right? So they take off. They're in the hospital. You know, a whole bunch of stuff happens. They're in the hospital. A whole bunch of stuff happens. And they tell Rock, your wife went into labor. She was super, whatever. She was super stressed out, this and that. She went into labor. The baby was delivered. The baby's healthy, but your wife slipped into a coma. And Rocky's like, what? Oh, Adrian. You know what I mean? You can't believe. He's like, no, Adrian. So he's hurt. He's sad. So all the training it got put on pause. So now he's not training, right? He's at her bedside the whole time. He's taking care of her, and he's practicing his reading, you know, because that was something that he struggled with in the beginning. And he's like reading a kid's book, right? He's reading a kid's book to her. Maybe it's one of the books he was going to read to this kid. But the thing is, he said, even though the baby was delivered, he's over here in the nursery, or he's over because they're at the hospital. He's over here with the nurses. I'm not going to go see him until we can see him together, right? Because he's a romantic deep down. He loves his wife. And all this stuff happens. And eventually Adrian, she wakes up, right? She comes out of the coma, right? And everybody's there. Everybody's happy. Everybody's congratulating her. They bring in the baby, right? They bring in the baby. And he's beautiful. Full head of hair. He's a beautiful little baby. And they're holding the baby. Everybody's happy, right? It's beautiful. It's a beautiful moment. Everybody's happy. And Adrian says to Rock, she said, I want you to do me a favor. He's like, yeah, what is it? She says, win. You know what that means. And Mick is like, Mick, the trainer, he's like, well, what are we waiting for? And the montage starts. And now he's training, right? He's running harder. He's trying to grab the chicken. He's doing the speed bag with a really small tank top on, showing his abs a little, you know? He's grabbing the chicken. He's doing this. He's sparring a little better. He's doing one-handed push-ups, everything. And it shows Apollo Creed. He's training too. And he's getting ready because he's like, no, I got to win this one. Apollo Creed, he's also training. He's getting ready. He's getting ready for the fight. He doesn't want to lose. Rocky, he's training. His wife asked him not to lose. Who's going to win? And it's the night of the fight. Everyone's there because they know, right? The media was going. Everybody's heard about the fight. Everybody's there for Rock, right? The neighborhood's there for Rock. Philadelphia's there. Everybody's there for Apollo Creed. He's the champ, right? He's got the money. He's putting on the show. And they're in the ring. They're looking at each other. And it's time. It's time to go. Apollo Creed's like, Apollo Creed's whole thing is like, I'm going to beat him down for real. Show everybody that I am the best boxer. And Rocky's like, I'm here to win too. Let's do it. And the fight starts. And they're fighting each other. And they're angry. They're both fighting angry. They're punching each other. Full power. Hooks. Slugfest. Right? And it gets to the point to where like Apollo Creed hasn't knocked him down in the first few rounds. And the same thing. He's going the distance again. Because Rocky could take a beating. Can Apollo? Right? Can Apollo take a beating? Does he have the stamina? He got the gas. Does he have the gas? And they're beating the hell out of each other. Boom. Round ends. Next round. Do it again. Next round. They're exhausted. They're beaten. Both of them got two black eyes. Got big ass bumps on the top of their head. They're bleeding, but they can't stop. Their eyes are so swollen. I don't even think either one of them can see. And they're just standing there, right? They're standing each other, just punching each other hard as they can. The round. Boom, and they're exhausted, right? Boom, exchanging blows. Boom, Rocky can't see. Apollo can't see. Boom, boom. And it's the last round. And both of them, they're tied. Still, technically, they're tied. And they're hitting each other. Boom. And it looks like, they can't stand anymore. One of them is about to die. They're both going to die. And they're hitting each other. And they crack each other, right? They hit each other with the right hook, left hook at the same time. And they both fall together. Boom. They hit the canvas. The music's playing. And the music's playing. And they're bloody, right? They're bloody. They're sweaty. They're trying to get up. They're dazed, bro. They're stunned. They're rocked. Both of them are rocked. They can't see. But here's the thing. Apollo, he hasn't been rocked that much. He's not used to being rocked. Rocky, this is where I'm from, right? So he's like trying to grab himself. They're both trying to climb the ropes, right? They're both dazed. And the referee's like, 3, 4, 5. And they're climbing, right? They're trying to climb. They're trying to climb each other. Apollo gets to the top of the rope. He's like, 7. Rocky gets to the top of the rope. Apollo Creed slips and falls all the way back down to the canvas, and Rocky stands up. 10. And the crowd cheers. The crowd goes crazy. They're like, Rocky, Rocky. And he's crying, right? He has his hands up. Oh, he did it. Apollo Creed is on the ground. They pick him up. Apollo Creed couldn't stop him. He couldn't stop The Rock. He couldn't stop Rocky, the human punching bag. He couldn't outbox him. He couldn't put him down. He went the distance. He couldn't do it. And Apollo Creed pats him on the back because Apollo Creed as a boxer, he's never been pushed that hard to where he lost. And he pats him on the back. And Rocky says, yo, Adrian, I did it. He holds up the belt. He's bloody. He can't see. And he says, Adrian, I did it. And Adrian's like, she's watching TV. She's like, I love you, Rocky. I love you. And Rocky wins. He did it. He went the distance again, and he won. He's going to change his life. He did it. He did it again. Rocky 2. And that's Rocky 2. He did it. A guy who had a chance, right? Had an opportunity thrusted upon him. He took it. He went the distance in the first one. In the second one, they said, hey, you didn't really go the distance. You didn't really beat him. Right? He tried to go on about his life. Life kept pulling him back that way. And he did it again. He won. And it changed his life. 50 mil. 50 mil. His wife, his kids are set. They're going to be all right. What could happen next, right? You got to ask yourself, what could happen next? And I'll tell you next week. When we visit Rocky 3, it's still Rocky, still Mick, right? We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm Alvi. This is the Cine-Ops Podcast. Let me know what you want to hear. Let me know what you don't want to hear. Let me know what you don't like. Let me know what you love. I hope you stay safe. Hope you drink water. The Cine-Ops Podcast. I'll catch you next time.